Hello, and welcome to Smart Women Read Romance, a book review podcast where we fangirl over all things romance. I'm Jessen.
And I'm Juliette.
And today we're going to be reviewing When August Ends, a standalone slow burn romance by Penelope Ward. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified whenever our new podcasts are coming out. And please rate and review us. It really helps other people find us. Juliette and I love getting feedback from our listeners, so follow us on our social media pages at SWReadRom. And if you're looking for some extras, join our Patreon for access to exclusive giveaways, a look behind the scenes of our episodes, and exclusive content including monthly videos featuring Q&As and some fun games. We're so thankful for our supporters on Patreon, and we love you guys. All right, let's jump into this podcast. So this book is set in New Hampshire. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the lake because I can't.
Like Wanapasawala?
Yeah.
Wanapasakali?
It just has a lot of vowels, and I know I'm going to flub it. So
it's an Indian name,
at the
obviously.
Lake. It's at the lake, and it just made me think about, I really want to do a lake vacation because I'm the weirdo. So I read about where this was set at, and I had to go Google it. I was like, where is it? Because I wanted a visual. And I was like, ooh, this looks beautiful. I was like, I just want to do a lake vacation. The only one that I've ever actually been on is we went to Kentucky, and in Kentucky Lake, because one of my stepdad's uncles owned a house down there, and it was really cool. I really liked it. There was this one section of the lake called the Rock Quarry in Kentucky Lake, and it's like this huge like sheer rock face.
Oh wow.
And it's like graffitied. Like there's so much graffiti, and you can like go all the way to the top. My mom and my stepdad went up there, which I'm not sure why my stepdad went, because he's afraid of heights. I was very confused about that. My mom was the first one to jump off though. She was like, wee! So I was young. I was like 8-ish, and there's like a lower point where kids can jump off of, and it's actually, the rock was Bart Simpson, I remember, and I was like, okay, we're gonna jump on that. Well, I get up there and I'm kind of working up the courage to jump, and my stepdad suddenly like, Jessen, jump right now. And I'm like, what? He's like, hurry up, jump. So I jump in. Apparently there was like raccoons behind me.
What?
Oh no.
Good thing you were there to protect you. What would you have done if you turned around?
No, freaked out, and I would have gotten rabies apparently. I don't know. It was just, that was my only lake experience.
Oh yeah. We used to we have family reunions like every other year, and we usually go to this national park in Mississippi. It's called Pobby Johnston. It's like near Gulfport, Mississippi. So it's like in that area. But it's so beautiful. But the lake, it's I don't know, it's really just fun. It's very different than the beach vacation, we do some canoeing and just, it's fun.
Like, I feel like it's just more, I don't know, it's just like
Relaxed.
a different, relaxed. And it's such a weird, I feel like beaches like party.
Yeah. One of my favorite things when we go is just getting up early in the morning and just seeing the mist on the water. And it's just like really beautiful.
Yeah. I think that's gorgeous. I always wanted to go to Lake Tahoe. My cousins went there for their anniversary, and it's just like crystally clear blue. I wanted to go to like Montana and like Minnesota. I know that they have all kind of lakes up there. There's so many places I want to vacation, guys. I wish I had unlimited money.
Reread Truth or Beard because they have the whole lake scene.
Oh yeah, that is a beautiful scene. But because there's bare buns in the lake, so that's
Dwayne Winston.
But like, we really just do beach vacations down here. I feel like our section,
we are this summer too.
Our section of like Louisiana though, which
required.
is like the Acadiana, it's like required, and like everybody goes during 4th of July. I swear, if you go with only your family, you'll meet everybody there that you know
from South Louisiana. Yeah,
it's like everybody goes to Destin.
Yeah, well, and it's funny when you're on the beach and see all the LSU and ULL flags flying high. It's so funny.
It gets nuts. I'm pretty
just
sure
because we don't have beaches, y'all. We have wetlands, so this is not the place you want to be in the summer. So that's why we all like literally vacate like the premises.
Yeah, and be like, nobody's here.
Go to the beach because it's also a short drive for us. It's like 5 hours.
6 hours. Yeah,
6 hours. Yeah,
exactly. All right,
so
let's get into this book, because I want to talk about a couple of things in this book. But first of all, Juliette's going to start us off and tell us a little bit about this book.
When August Ends is a dual POV slow burn summer romance when Penelope Ward combines a sweet summer crush with a deeper look at the difficulties of caring for a loved one with depression. Our hero and heroine navigate their growing feelings as the summer goes on, but someone is keeping a secret that could change everything.
Dun, dun, dun. Drama.
Love it.
Not too much, not too heavy on the drama. I think it's a perfect mix.
Yeah.
But so I discovered Penelope Ward. I was thinking about it, and I thought that I discovered her through her dual authorship with Vi Keelan. They have a couple dual authored books, but it really was the Stepbrother Dearest book that I first read from her.
Really?
Yes. And it was such an interesting read. And I think that I've noticed from reading Penelope Ward, she does like to play around with like more unconventional romances, but not venturing into like really taboo territory.
Yeah.
Because like for the stepbrother romance, it was like they were already 16 or 17, never knew each other, and they only lived together for like a year.
Yeah,
so it wasn't like
live each other
crazy.
like brother and sister.
Right, exactly. You didn't grow up with them. And then she does have one more recently called Love Online, and I really don't want to give away because I can't remember what's in the blurb, but that one has an unconventional plot, which I was kind of like, what?
Interesting.
So that one's fun. I just think that she goes the unconventional route. But this one's not too cray-cray. It's an age gap, which of course we love.
Jessen's obsessed.
I'm like,
just so you know.
Like, which age gap can we fit on the podcast?
Seriously, y'all. She's like, it's an age gap trope.
I think the reason why I've featured a couple on the podcast is because I see a lot of people saying like age gaps squeak me out because especially if the heroine's younger, younger women just don't know what they want. They're not mature enough to make decisions. And so I guess whenever I find one where I feel like they portray the heroine in like the correct way in which it's acceptable to have such a big age gap, I like to feature it because I'm like, well, here are examples why people would like an age gap.
And some women who, have old souls and have to grow up fast because of their circumstances, and
which is exactly what the case is with this heroine. She's had its circumstances have brought her. It's just like she grew up in such a way that she's wise beyond her years. And so it's just and
there are lots of women out there like that who end up going for older men because they're more mature and ready for them, you know?
So I guess it's just me being
it's really Jessen's obsession.
Try this one.
But
I swear it's good.
I'm going to humor her and say, okay, let's do another age gap.
So whenever I was rereading this book for the podcast, because I already read it before, Juliette, this was her first time. I really like this book because I don't think it's like too dramaful. It does have like a little plot twist in it. But I felt like I would like to describe it as I felt like I was like lazing in an ocean and just letting the waves carry me up and down. And I was just like going with the flow.
I was going to say this is the perfect summer read.
Yeah.
It just like, feels gentle.
It does.
It's like a gentle, sweet romance.
I just felt relaxed while I was reading it. I was just like, this is lovely.
It's not angsty. It's just, and it's got some fun and funny moments. Yeah. It's just really, it's a perfect summer read.
Yep. And so this book is just kind of made up of a lot of little moments pieced together, which I really like. I feel like you really get a good sense of passage of time. Yeah. It's not like they're thrown together. Right. And I really felt like they knew each other, by the time. Because this is a slow burn, so they don't get together anywhere near the beginning, even though feelings are there. Yeah. But I just feel like by the time they do get together, I felt like they spent a lot of time with each other and it made sense, I
agree.
So
I agree.
So Juliette's going to tell us a little bit about our main characters.
Our heroine, Heather, assumed a lot of responsibility when the death of her sister sent her mother deep into depression. Not only is she the only one with a job, but she handles the boathouse rental property on the lake near her house. When a man, Noah, rents it for the entire summer, Heather can't help but wonder if he's running away from something.
Ooh.
The super hot Noah, I should say. Let me add that.
He's gorgeous. I just had this very lovely mental picture
very
of him.
Rugged, manly man.
Yes. Oh, yum. Okay, so we're going to venture into spoiler territory because I want to start breaking down this book. If you've not read this book already, please go pick it up and then come back and come chat with us. This is your last spoiler warning. All right, guys, it is showdown time.
Showdown.
And it's Juliette's turn to go first. So let's see if she can show me up.
Okay, we'll see. Well, mine is okay. So just brief setup. Heather has thrown herself quite a bit at a couple of times. Has made it more than apparent that she's very interested in Noah.
The aggressor.
And he's just like, I'm too old for you. We're just gonna be friends. La 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 la. Okay.
I love whenever you say la 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 la.
That's my yada yada etc.com. Sorry, I do that. Anyway, so she's going on a date. So she's like, well, if he's not going out with me, she got asked on a date by a nice guy from high school. She's like, I might as well go, right? Well, she wants to go and show him her dress and how she looks. So before her date, she goes
Classic,
down.
this is what you're missing out on.
It's so good. So she goes down to see him, and he almost loses his mind.
He's definitely
like she's
hanging
in
on
a
by
pretty
thread.
little dress, this hot red lipstick on, and he's like that. He's basically, you got to take that lipstick off. Like he just can't even. So then he goes and like wipes it off.
That was pretty sexy. I have to say, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I know. I was like, ooh, Noah. And then she says that she wants to, because she had been saying, I want to. Like they talked about alcohol, and she's not yet 21 or whatever. He's like, well, no, you're not old enough. I know you drink, but I don't want to give it to you, you know? Well, she's like, well, I'd like to try your whiskey. And he's like, I've told you. She's like, no, like from your mouth.
Yeah. Because he had just
because he's been drinking. So they have like this wicked hot. It's just it's that moment I always love when the guy can't take it anymore and he loses it.
This is the first time that they really did anything, period.
Yes. It's the first time they actually, the feelings are on the table and he can no longer deny he has feelings for her because he's been pretending pretty much the whole time. He's
been holding back, and it's mostly been like, oh, it's one-sided. He doesn't see me that way.
Exactly.
But now his jealous side is showing.
Yeah.
And she knows it.
It was
so
awesome.
She's pushing it. And she gets a wonderful kiss out of it. So
she does. And
she wins.
He's just like, it's just fun to see the guy finally break down.
Yeah.
And
I like that scene.
Feelings.
That was pretty awesome.
So
I do like it.
I went for the hot smexy scene this time. How about you?
Okay, I went for a funny scene.
Go figure. I think I know which one you're going to do.
Okay, so, it is honestly could be either or because it kind of happened twice. So this is later. This is after they kind of admitted their feelings for each other, but Noah thinks that she has to go and experience the world. And this is like his last day there. And he decides to take her to like an amusement park because he doesn't want her to be sad. They don't want to spend it like as a sad day. So they go do something fun together in an amusement park. And there is a fortune teller there. So they go in the tent and they do like a double reading where they're sitting side by side.
Right.
And the first thing the fortune teller asks is, so who's the ass tickler?
I knew that's what this is going to be about.
And I about died because the first time this happened, the first time it actually happened, and so Noah is stunned because he's like, how the fuck did she know
this?
Because
so Heather's a sleep talker.
Heather's a huge sleep talker, and the one time she ever fell asleep in the boathouse is after her 21st birthday. She was talking in her sleep, and not only did she say, fuck me, Noah, she said, I want to tickle your ass. And I think that is the most funny line I've ever read because I was like, it was so out of left field.
It was.
And I was just like, what the fuck? You want to tickle his ass?
Why would you want to tickle his ass? With what? A feather? Your finger? What are we doing?
I can't. I just got coochie coo.
I'm the ass tickler.
So anyway, I just like that scene, not only because it's funny, but also because the fortune teller does turn to Noah and was like, so you're in love with her, right? And like, she's like, don't answer that. Don't feel like you have to answer that. But in his head, and she's kind of feeling like, oh, well, he's like not fighting to say anything.
Right.
So I feel kind of embarrassed because, he felt on the spot and he doesn't love me. But really in his head, he's like, I did love her. I do love her, but I don't want to say it because I feel like if I admit that I love her, she's really not going to want to go to Vermont.
Right.
So I feel like it was just a good scene overall because it was funny, yet we get true Noah's like, this is endgame, but if you love someone, you gotta have to let them go first.
Right. It's definitely if you love them, set them free. Yes. And I think in these age gap tropes, we see these men do that a lot. I mean, just like in Torn, we saw the same thing. And I think that's important. Me
too. And I think it's unselfish of them.
Yes.
Because they could easily end it and be like, okay, I want you. I claim
Yeah, I want you now. I love. I knew you were going to do the
So,
ass tickler scene. So
It was fun. But anyway, just to throw in a little personal detail, I do have a tattoo that says love is sacrifice. And I felt like that's kind of what the whole deal was going on. Like, he loved her so much, but he was like sacrificing his own happiness because there was one scene where he was like, I know that I would be happy with her forever. Like, she's my forever. But I need her to go and experience stuff because of all the drama
And
with
be
her
sure.
mom. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want to deprive her. She's always wanted to go. That now's her chance.
She's been
I
trapped
can't be
here.
selfish.
Right.
So I really love Noah a lot.
I do too.
So-
I do too. We're going to have such a hard time when we do our mini-sode on 2019
Oh,
reads.
yeah.
Like, it's going to be seriously
It's going to be bad.
difficult.
I'm going to have to deliberate for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
going to be fun.
You better get that list started in the Google Docs.
For real.
Jeez.
All right, guys, we're going to start with the breakdown. So we meet Heather, and Heather has taken responsibility for her mother and the house that they live in. Her mother suffers from clinical depression, which worsened whenever her sister Opal committed suicide 5 years ago. So they have a boathouse on the property near the lake, and they use that boathouse to rent out, and it's kind of income.
Right, it's
and it's
extra
necessary for Heather because
Definitely.
Heather is the only one that's currently working. Her mom doesn't work at all, and Heather has a waitressing job that she does at night.
Right.
So during the day, she takes care of all the house stuff, all the chores, everything.
Her
Plus,
mom.
she does, exactly. Plus, she does the boathouse. She has to clean and she has to handle rentals, everything, background checks. It's all on Heather. She has a lot of responsibility for being a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
So the boathouse was booked for 3 months straight, which never happens, by a man named Noah. And I really do like that they emphasize that she did a background check too, because I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
We need
Double
to be
check.
safe.
Why
we need
is
to be
he
safe.
Is he running from something? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. But anyway, it's not a red flag, but it's just kind of like, man, that's never happened. Who wants to stay here for 3 months straight? And who has the time to take off work for 3 months?
I know.
it's
And
just
then when I saw, like, his name was Noah Cavallari, and he was from, I don't know, somewhere north or whatever.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia. I'm like, ooh, is he mafia? Like, I'm so used to romantic suspense and stuff. I'm like, maybe he's running from the mafia. Maybe the mob's after it. But I'm glad I was wrong.
Speaking of which, because we do know what he's running from, and I think we'll keep it a secret in this podcast just a little bit longer. But did you expect the plot twist? Like, were you
No.
surprised?
I was
like,
shocked.
whoa! I was like,
Shocked.
I wasn't.
Shock and
I wasn't
awe.
going to guess that at all.
Never.
Like, because
Never.
they emphasize it. I think that what Penelope Ward does, she doesn't throw it in your face that something's a little amiss with Noah being there for 3
There's a
months.
secret.
She kind of just,
just
kind of
little
like,
hints.
just like, boom, let's throw it
Yeah.
out there, and then let's move on with another
Yeah,
scene.
and let's
so
keep
it's in the
going.
back of your mind, but it's not like, oh, we know
Yeah,
something
it wasn't
wrong.
like every chapter he's like, if she only knew, you know,
Yeah,
like
exactly. So I just appreciated that.
Yeah, I did
that
too.
it was like
it was really cool. I thought.
good writing. So Heather has been watching out at the boathouse to see whenever his truck leaves, because she does clean, and whenever she's like, oh, coast is clear, his truck isn't here anymore, and so she takes her Saint Bernard Teddy with her to go clean. But Noah's in the shower, guys, and he comes
walks out.
with his beautiful manly body dripping with water.
Oh my God.
And she's
She's
just
stunned.
staring.
She just stands there and
Which,
stares.
Come on. I would definitely not hide my eyes either. I'd be like,
But wouldn't you like freak out for a moment and then just you're like, first of all, somebody caught you like almost like you're sneaking in their
Yes,
place. And
yes.
then he's like this drop dead gorgeous guy.
yeah, she's like, holy
standing there half
shit.
naked, all wet, please.
Yeah, beautiful. But he's kind of a dick because he's like, what
totally-
the hell is going on here? Like, so she's so stunned by that she just like, that she, kind of dropped in on his privacy, that she just kind of leaves her cleaning bucket supplies and runs out
Like
of there with the
drops
dog.
them and
She's
runs.
Like, bye.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And just runs.
So yeah, anyway, she's just like, oh my God, this was so weird, but he's so hot. Oh my God, drop dead gorgeous. So then their next run-in, which I love, this was almost my backup scene, honestly. Their next run-in is
yeah.
whenever Heather, which I love this about Heather. She has a lot of responsibility, and one of the ways that she lets go is she goes in the lake and she does her quote unquote water aerobics, which is just dancing like a crazy person
In the water.
in the water while she listens to 90s songs. And so she was listening to Crisscross Jump while dancing, and Noah runs in fully clothed to the
Yeah,
lake
like in
to
his
rescue her
jeans.
because he thinks she's drowning. That's what she looked like. It's just perfect.
It was. That
It's
was
just
a good
perfect.
scene.
And he's like, "You're not drowning." And she's like, "No, I'm exercising."
He's like, what?
So anyway,
with
this is her
you?
in to talk to him. This is her in. And she's like, "Look, I just wanted to apologize. I thought you weren't here. Your truck wasn't here. And I just cleaned."
Yeah, she apologized.
And then we start getting into, background, because he's like, "Well, why are you cleaning?"
Yeah.
And she goes in, she's like, "Well, I have to take care of this. My mom, she suffers from depression. She really doesn't get out much. So it's my responsibility.
It's my job.
And he's like, "How old are you?" And she's like, 20. And so he's already getting a sense of who she is. They're already getting to know each other. And Heather is super attracted to him. She actually wants to prolong this conversation. She's like, she feels a little awkward. She is in her bathing suit and he's, fully clothed. They're out on the deck of the boathouse. This is one thing that is kind of like a recurring theme, that he doesn't let her in the boathouse. They never go in there.
Yeah.
They always stay out on the deck because
Temptation.
it's not as, intimate and private. Right. So Noah does apologize, which I'm glad he did, for snapping at her. And Heather discovers that he's a photographer, because she's like, "Well, what do you do, dude? Like, why are you here for so long?
How can you have 3 months off?"
Exactly, which makes sense. Photographer,
Right. If he
make your
runs
own
his own
hours.
business. Exactly.
So good. Check off the box of why he can be there for so long.
Exactly. Okay. He's not in the mafia.
Yeah.
He's running.
Juliette was wrong. But the mafia
He's in the mattresses. Okay. Anyway, So, and that was something I forgot to mention for my showdown. Dang it! Was that's when he takes photographs of her in that dress too, and when he sees her through the lens, it's like where we see he's totally falling in love with her. I forgot to mention that. Anyway,
was good.
Add that back to my showdown so you can go ahead and vote for me. Okay. Thank you. All right. So Heather tells him that she's in charge of the upkeep, like we said. She also mentions that they would eventually like to sell the property, but she has to fix up a few things. And she just doesn't have the time to do all that, or the knowledge to do all of it. There's a lot of maintenance, handyman
She's
type
good at
stuff.
a lot of things, but she's not handy. So.
Right. So Noah offers to help her because things are too quiet. And he's like, I don't like being idle. I'm good with my hands, which I love. She's like, "I bet you're good with your hands." Like in her mind, she's like,
also.
When he said that, I'm like, "Oh, don't say that. Please don't say that."
I was like, you're just feeding her fire, her crush fire.
Yeah, because she's got a crush immediately. I mean, she cannot not have a crush on this guy.
Right.
And so he's just like, "Seriously, I don't mind helping. Just, let me know, give me a list and I'll see what I can do, So Heather asks if he wants a date in exchange for fixing up the property.
Yeah, she's half joking, but half not.
Half not. Kind of like, "Hey, you want a date?" And, 'cause, I mean, she's flirting. She's getting her flirt on, But he is highly offended, saying he's old enough to be her father. She's like,
"Are you serious?
You're not that old." Which he's not. It's
he
really
like isn't, but
maybe
he
an
was
older
trying
brother.
to play it up because she's being extremely obvious about her attraction.
Yes, she's and a little bit bold.
She's definitely a bold one. I really appreciate that about her because
she's not a little shy wallflower.
You always know where you're at with her. She just is not a very good liar, or she doesn't like to hide her feelings.
No, and she just whatever she's thinking, she's pretty much going to tell you.
Right, and I wouldn't say that her flirting is like overbearing. I wouldn't say that.
No, not
I would
at
just
all.
say that it's just pretty obvious, the twinkle in the eye.
Well, and I think also
let's prolong this conversation.
Yeah, and she recognizes there's sexual tension between them immediately.
Yeah,
it's not like, she doesn't see him checking her out a little bit either. When she's in that bikini, she knows his eyes are wandering.
But he is adamant saying there's nothing going on.
Yeah. So he's just a guy checking out her boobs. Okay, whatever.
We know you're lying, Noah.
Liar. So Noah's first job is he paints the boathouse for her, and Heather's mom notices her checking him out and warns her against men who would take advantage of her. Okay, so this is where we kind of learn that Heather's father left when she was young and remarried, and he has a family who he dotes on.
Oh yeah,
excessively.
It's like the perfect husband and father for them.
And he comes and visits her like once or twice a year or something.
Yeah, and it's basically to be down on her the whole time. Like
all it is criticize.
Yeah, exactly. Of everything.
It's
that
like
she's
they dread
wrong.
it. She and her mom both dread his visits. It's almost like I wish at some point somebody would say, "Stop coming."
Yeah, exactly. Why do you let him
Why
back?
do you keep coming back? We find out later that Opal took the abandonment of their father really hard, which kind of spiraled her mental instability.
Yeah, she already had a history.
She had already had a history of it, and it probably comes from their mom, who also has anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
And so it was inherited. But when their father left, it's like she leaves home, even though they try to keep her. she leaves and just basically floats around the world.
It's almost like running away because she didn't even let them know where she was at. She like refused to tell.
They had no idea.
She refused to tell Heather and their mom where she was.
Until they get the call that she's killed herself.
Heather.
Right.
Exactly. Very hard on Heather.
Yeah. So one day Heather is like in the kitchen in the house and she looks out to the boathouse and she sees her neighbor, Kira, the bitch. The little hussy.
She's not a bitch.
No, she's not a bitch.
She was just going out after an extremely hot man, Candy. He was shirtless.
I really can't blame Kira at all.
No,
what am I
he
thinking?
Was shirtless painting the boathouse. I would also
Although
be like,
Heather did mention that Kira's always got a new man at the house.
She gets around. There is one note that I do want to bring up about Kira, but after.
Okay, so she sees Kira approaching him while he is painting, and immediately Heather's like super possessive, like, no.
She's like, wait, I saw him first.
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to bring him out some water, which I probably should have done a long time ago, but I'm doing it now.
Exactly. She's like, I'm going to bring this water now.
And I like how also she says, you know, she wants to warn him away because Kira is like a bed hopper. And just like, she's like, I'm looking out for you. But I'm just
watching out for you. You know, she even says in her head, you know, casual sex is fine, but you know, she shouldn't be around Noah.
No, I did not like this about Kira, that she invited Noah to dinner with her kids. And I'm like, you don't even know who this person is.
And why would you do that? You're going to invite a strange man into your house? Do you invite
every person that you sleep with to meet your children? I thought I was a little bit pissed off about Kira.
Yeah, that would that would lead to instability in her own children.
Yeah.
You know,
so I was just mad about that. We only see Kira like one more time. But anyway.
She's a drifter. She's of no consequence, but still. But it did immediately show Noah that somebody's got a little bit of a jealous streak of where Kira's concerned.
I do love this part too, because Heather is like, I think Kira said, don't you have to go to work? And she's like, nope, I don't have to go to work right now.
I've got an hour left before I have to leave. She's like already late.
Yeah. She's definitely already late. And then whenever Kira leaves and Noah asks her a question, she's like, I'm late. And he was like, I thought you said that.
I lied.
She just didn't want to leave him alone with Kira.
It's so funny. Yeah, I like the next instance with Kira is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
it's almost my showdown scene too. So, but she likes talking to Noah, even though he's made it very clear that he's not interested in her like that. Liar. And invites him to dinner with her mother. It's like, oh, you know, it's my mom's idea.
Yeah, she wants to meet you.
She wants to meet you. You know, you're living in the boathouse. So if you would like to come and have dinner at our house.
Yeah. So Noah says yes, which she's surprised about, but he says yes. So boom, check. So Noah, the night of the dinner, decides to pick up garlic bread in lieu of wine, since Heather is only 20 and they're being very responsible. No underage drinking, which is not the case down here.
Yeah. But I was about to say 18.
Like,
whoop whoop.
Like 20, a couple months away from 21. You still can't drink. But anyway, I have to say he's a man after my own heart, because bringing garlic bread is the next best thing after wine.
What?
So
seriously?
I was like, yes, give me all the garlic bread.
I'm all about the bread.
I'm a little bit garlic obsessed too, so I'm just like, I was just
and bread obsessed.
I was just, you know, Noah.
Yeah.
You know the way to my heart.
Yeah.
So he regrets agreeing to dinner because he knows Heather is attracted to him and doesn't make it a secret. And he's like, well, why did I say yes? It's because you can't stay away, Noah. That's why. So Noah discovers that Heather planned to go to college to study nursing, but had to change her plans because of her mother, because they talk about the ex-boyfriend. There's a little scene about that.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of like offended. Not offended, but just like, man, this girl has given up so much.
She's had to sacrifice a lot.
She could have easily left.
Yeah, she could have left her mom and gotten some, you know, a nursing home or somebody to take care of her or something. Yeah,
or just completely just been like, you're fine, you're an adult and take care of yourself.
Exactly.
But that's not Heather's personality.
Right.
So Heather's very interested in his travels as a photographer. She did look at his website and saw his work. And she particularly was interested in his pictures from Cuba, which was his most profound trip. Like this trip affected him a lot. He met this little boy that he just like had an intense connection with. And he's pretty much floored that out of all the pictures, she picks those. And they were all black and white, like, and he was just like, man. So
these little orphan children.
Connections. Yeah.
And I think he also, to me, what I recognize in Heather is like, Heather's got a deep soul.
She
does.
You
know, I mean, she doesn't gravitate toward the models and stuff.
She's
you know,
very insightful. She's very insightful.
She's looking at the tender, beautiful moments.
She says a lot of things that are just very deep. She definitely thinks a lot about what she says. And I really like that about Heather. So Noah's thinking inside of his head that Heather listened as I told her more stories from my travel. She was more interested in the people I'd met along the way than the places I'd visited, which I found to be telling about the kind of person she was.
Very good.
He's already being like, man, there's more to this 20-year-old than first meets the eye, and maybe she's a little bit more mature than I pegged her to be. Because I think that, which happens a lot in age gap romances, it's like, oh, well, 18 to 20, 21, up to 25, really don't know what you want. You need to experience life. She's experienced quite a bit of life without leaving, but she's definitely experienced a lot.
Exactly.
So I think this is like first hints that Noah is dealing with something that he just doesn't quite know what to do with yet, but he will later.
Yeah.
So after a while, her mom decides to come down and make it awkward.
Thanks, Mom.
Noah gets a little bit angry on her behalf and thinks about how talking to Heather was something he really enjoyed and that it wasn't part of the plan to actually like visiting with Heather, because he's like thinking this as he's going back to the boathouse to escape the mom awkwardness where she's like, what are your intentions?
What are your intentions with my daughter?
God,
like, Mom.
you have ulterior motives.
God.
And she was embarrassed, poor thing.
Yeah.
So she does come chat with Noah at the boathouse, and they always remain outside because Noah's like, I have to have some boundaries. It's just, we can't go inside.
Yeah, the
There's
boathouse
only a
is
bed.
small too,
There's only a bed in there.
Bed and like a little bitty table in the kitchenette. Yeah.
And that's it. And so he's like, no, we're staying out here. So Heather does open up about her sister running away and not keeping in touch, and also says that she committed suicide and how that suicide affected them. Like, this was the main reason why she couldn't go anywhere, because whenever Opal committed suicide, her mom's depression got even worse.
Yeah.
So it's just layer by layer. We're just getting to know what,
and Noah's just absorbing
Heather,
all of this, you know.
And he's just like, man, this girl's been through a lot.
Yeah. So Heather decides to go for it and straight up admits her attraction to Noah. So this is where I think Justin and I talked about how we both love an honest girl.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
she's
like,
willing to
sometimes
just
you got to
totally,
take a chance.
Yeah. And it's so bold. Like, honestly, at 20, I don't know if I could have done that, you know, to a guy that I wasn't sure what he thought or felt about me. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Can I tell like kind of an embarrassing story?
Yes. Please tell an embarrassing story.
So
I want to hear
there was this guy, which in hindsight, no, Jessen, no. But anyway.
But at the time,
I really liked this guy. We kind of had a bit of a history, and we were all out downtown at a bar, and we were about to leave, and I remember texting my friend Danny. I was like, I think I'm gonna kiss him, like me initiated, and like we're in the middle of a bar, and I was like, I think I'm gonna do it, and she's like, go for it. And like, she's always like she eggs me on, even though we
that's
know
why
it's
you
not a good
texted
idea.
her. I know
exactly.
that
Well, she was standing right next to me.
Oh, okay.
Like, anyway, she's like, go for it. I fucking did it. I like went in for the kiss and I went out. I like stormed out of the bar.
You told me this. I remember this.
I have to say, it was an empowering feeling to like take control and like kind of be the aggressor in the situation.
Instead of waiting.
And guess what? He chased me. So it worked out for a little while.
Work, yeah.
For a little while. But anyway.
Even though it was a bad choice. But still.
I mean, I did it. I went for it. I don't regret it. I do regret liking him for so long, but I don't regret
I remember
that.
you telling me that story. That was an awesome
fun,
story.
I have to say.
That's right.
I have fond memories of that.
Take control, girls.
Yeah. If you like someone, I'm not saying go kiss the person that you like. I'm just saying sometimes
don't
you
go make out in bars, but be bold.
Sometimes you have to not play hard to get and just be truthful.
Yeah. So Heather tries, right?
Heather does try.
Heather does try.
Like, no.
But he insists that nothing can happen between them. He keeps going back to this. But at the same time, he doesn't want her to leave when she tries to make a graceful exit. Like, she's like, well, I'm going to go. He's like, well, no, you don't have to leave, you know?
Yeah, and she's like, no, I really think I do.
Yeah, I really think I do. That was embarrassing. Okay? But then Noah ruminates on the effect his rejection had on Heather. And obviously, it's paining him.
Yeah,
you know?
He's like, I didn't mean it to be personal. Like, obviously, she's beautiful. There's no reason why I wouldn't be attracted to her, but it just can't happen because of
And we get this little hint that he's debating on telling her why he really came to the lake.
So
but
there's a
we
reason.
Don't know. He's still not telling us, the reader.
There's a reason. It seems a little complicated, but we're just going to
there's one other thing holding him back from besides the age.
Right.
You know, things.
Exactly.
I think he's past the age thing at this point.
I think the age is an excuse at this point to still hold him back.
Yes. And so his feelings obviously are becoming a serious complication because he's only growing more attracted to her. Not just, you know, her physically, but, you know, emotionally, her depth, her personality is so fun, you know. And he says, I felt like I had a mission and I was running out of time. I needed to help her get out of this place. So then we're like, what?
Oh my God, what is your purpose, Noah?
Like, so we don't know what's going on in the background, but we do know now that his goal is to help her sell this house because the money is going to go toward her going to nursing school.
Right.
You know, and so he's like, I need to help her get her life back.
Right.
Okay, so we know that that's part of his goal.
But it's like, why, Noah, why? What's your connection?
We don't know. So Heather has been seeing a psychologist for about a year, which I think is really smart, both because of her family's history with mental illness and the pressure of being the caregiver to her parents. She has a lot on her chest.
I think it shows another layer of maturity for her because she made that decision for herself that I need to talk to somebody
else to talk to. And y'all, she's pretty alone. You know, I mean, she sees friends, but it's rare. I mean, most of her friends from high school have gone off to college,
right?
And she's living on this lake.
Friend works with her at the pub, and so she really doesn't have like a wide circle of people to just bounce stuff off of and vent about. Also, there's another thing where you figure out later on. There's a moment like whenever Noah and Heather had like a disagreement later on in the novel, and she pulls it back in, like she's getting angry, and then all of a sudden she like flips a switch, and she's like, no. So she's very used to being
controlling,
calm,
like almost like internalizing
because she needs to put other people before her, and so she never really kind of lets loose, which is not a good thing.
It's actually become an unhealthy response for her.
But I have to say, it's very much a product of how she's growing up. And being the responsible person, she can't let her emotions get away with her.
Let's just internalize all this pain. And then just swallow it and then keep moving on.
But
and that's kind
at
of
least she is talking to somebody, which I really like. I like that little aspect.
And, you know, of course, on top of all that, the fact that her sister killed herself. You know, I mean, there's just a lot she's had to deal with.
There's a lot of stuff that she needs to talk about.
Right. And so she also writes in her journal.
Yeah, she does.
Which I love that her journal has become, this is where she has, since she can't talk to Noah anymore about how she feels, she started to write down these detailed fantasies involving Noah.
Oh, yeah. Some hot and heavy fantasies.
MG. So cool.
Lovely.
And, okay, this is what's so funny. Noah one day forgets his laundry in the dryer. The laundromat is basically hooked.
It's in the basement.
In the basement of their house.
And there's another entrance that you don't have to go through the house.
So whoever rents the boathouse always uses that entrance. And so he left his laundry in there. So she's like, oh, well, I'll just fold it for him. And while she's doing it, she was like, has a little idea. She slips her black lace panties off her body from underneath her skirt and stuffs them in his laundry.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, girl, you are so bold. I was like, I cannot believe. She is bold.
I was like, if she's doing it, she's really doing it.
Yes, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I have to say, she does say that folding laundry is relaxing. And I'm just like, what kind of alien are you?
I hate laundry.
Heather, we need to talk if this is what you look forward to in a day.
Look, wait till she has kids, because trust me, there's like literally, Kevin was talking about climbing Mount Everest. In other words, the mountain of laundry on our couch. I mean, Jesus. Anyway, so she says to herself, I wanted to push boundaries and have some fun again. And I love that she's still not lost. Like, she's not depressed or anything. She's, you know, even in this sort of like super adult role she's been forced to play, you know, in her own life.
And I also think that even though Noah's rejected her a couple times, she's still like, I don't want to let it go.
Yeah. I think she's like, I've seen his eyes wander a little bit.
Yeah, let's test the waters.
Believing this. I mean, there's a connection. She senses.
And it's also like, don't forget, I find you really attractive.
Yeah. By the way, here are my black lace panties.
You forgot.
Oh my God.
I really like you.
It's so hot. Okay, so anyway. So Heather decides to apply to the University of Vermont and was accepted for the spring semester. So now things are getting real. She's really looking toward her future.
Right.
And Noah is super proud of her for taking the step for herself. He's very encouraging for her to get out and to try to get the house ready to sell.
Right.
But he's also a little sad because he knew that once his mission was done, he would miss her. He's already feeling that sense of loss.
because they're going to go in their separate directions.
Yeah, he's going to go back home. She's going to go to
Vermont. The summer's going to end. Whenever August ends, it's over.
Yes.
So it's sad. It's sad, but happy.
I know.
Happy sad.
I know. And then we have another funny little quirky moment where Heather decides to rescue a pair of guinea pigs. And Noah
randomly from a closing pet store.
From a closing pet store. She's like, they were going to euthanize them. I couldn't let them kill the guinea pigs.
Which I think it's very true to her character because she likes to help people.
She's a caregiver.
She is a caregiver.
The fact that she's going to nursing is like perfect. Perfect.
And she wants to do psychiatric nursing.
Yes, she does.
Because of her sister. So
exactly. I love that.
Just, I'm not surprised that she wants guinea pigs, but
I know.
very questionable because I'm not a rodent person.
Not at all. But Noah ends up having to put them in the boathouse, which I thought was going to be like annoying to him, but he actually falls in love with these guinea pigs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same. And I think I was kind of just like, projecting, because I was like, I wouldn't want rodents around me, but that's just me.
I know. And what I thought was so funny was the reason is because Teddy, who their giant dog, he calls Fathead.
I love that he calls him Fathead.
It's like, it's the biggest head I've ever seen on a dog in my life. But the dog is so funny. The dog loves Noah. It's so cute.
Yeah.
At one point, I think it even escaped and got into his house.
And goes lay in his bed.
He's like, you want to come text her? You want to come get your dog?
Yeah.
But the guinea pigs are interesting because it's not just a little quirky thing. They become very important later
They do,
on.
which I never expected that to become important.
Ever.
It's just, I love the way that these are tied in. And he names them Bonnie and Clyde, by the way.
Bonnie and Clyde.
They're funny. So anyway, Noah finds the panties about a week later because, like all men, we don't put our laundry away. And he decides to keep them, which is a telling thing, because he could easily have just gone put them in the laundry room, just put them down, but he didn't. He kept them.
Not going to say a word, but he's going to keep them. They're mine.
He does some dirty things with them later.
Yeah, I know.
So Heather's dad arrives, which is terrible. And it's his annual criticism session disguised as dinner, because it isn't really, let's catch up and see how my child is doing. And my ex-wife, let's just shit on them the whole time.
Exactly. He's horrible.
Heather asked Noah to be there as a buffer. I really like that, and I really like that he's like, yeah, I'm gonna support you. It's that they're already working as this like couple, as this like dream team.
That's what is so interesting. They are acting like a couple, but they're not a couple.
Yeah, exactly. So the dad is against selling the house. He like points out all kind of things like this isn't like top market price, and that realtor.
Yeah, if you wait, you're gonna get more money.
The realtors just, of course, they're telling you to sell now. They want a quick buck, and he wants to wait for a better market value. And he also says Heather, like whenever Heather's like, I got accepted to the University of Vermont, he's like, you're abandoning your mother by going to college, which is very rich because he's the one that abandoned his family.
A douche.
He's
bag.
terrible.
Seriously, what a hypocrite.
Terrible. And it also comes out that he is entitled to half the selling price of the house due to the divorce. And he plans to take it. Like Alice, the mom,
I need this
is
money.
like, you told me you weren't going to take it. And he's like, well, things have changed.
Yeah. My business isn't doing well now. So, I need that money now.
Changed.
So he's going to take the money that was meant for his own daughter to go to school, the one he abandoned.
And take care of her mother.
Yeah. Without, I just can't even. Men like
dad.
this, my mind.
No. Very selfish. The antithesis of Heather. It's just, oh my God, she's amazing. So Noah does stand up for Heather and like tells her dad about himself. I do like that. After Heather had, cried and went up to her room.
Yeah.
And he later tells Heather, he's like, I'll help you. Like, I will pay for college. And she's like, I can't let you do that. And he's like, I have money and don't have to do anything with it. I'm going to help you.
He's like, I've saved a lot of money. You can pay me back later.
So this is going above and beyond for somebody.
This isn't just a friend. Even like just a friend doesn't pay for your college, y'all. No. Come on.
First of all, he's already half in love with her.
Yeah.
Already half in love with her. So another little sign is Noah buys a couch for the boathouse in disguised as...
a love seat, which he calls a small couch because he doesn't want to use the word love and seat together.
And his excuse is that it'll look good for potential buyers because it'll be like, oh, this is a place to sit, since there's no place to sit really besides the bed. And he's like, it's a selling point, but it's really because he kind of wants an excuse to invite Heather inside the boathouse. Okay. So he gets back to the boathouse and he puts the couch in there. And I love this scene. He's feeding the guinea pigs with chopsticks, a freshly chopped cucumber, like hand feeding them pieces. And I'm just like, you're adorable.
So cute.
You beautiful man.
I know.
You beautiful man. You're super cute.
Yeah. It's like when you see a big burly man with a puppy or a kitten. Oh
yeah. He just daddy Noah. So not in a creepy way, just like caregiver way.
Yeah. Caregiver way.
So Alice, Heather's mom, asked Noah to replace some windows. One of them is Heather's bedroom window, and he accidentally knocks over her journal. We all know what's coming. He catches his name and reads a little scene that Heather has written, a fantasy about her like showering outside and him like coming up behind her.
Yes.
And he is interrupted by Alice, and he like has a raging boner at this point. And he like he like goes up to the window, acts like he's opening and closing, but like, yeah, I'll be down in a minute.
Yeah, he's like he's like, please don't come in. He's like, I gotta get this boner down before I can go down.
He is very hot under the collar at this point. So he's like, damn it, Heather.
Yes.
What the fuck? Like, obviously, she has not let this go.
Not letting it go.
So Noah's feeling the sexual tension whenever he invites Heather to watch a movie now that he has a couch, which, you know what? If he really didn't deep down want something, he would have never invited her in after reading that.
He's making excuses for himself, I think.
Exactly. This is definitely excuse point.
We're one step toward the bed.
Oh, yeah, we are. So Noah plans Heather's 21st birthday, which she normally doesn't celebrate due to it also being the anniversary of her sister's death, which is a poor thing. She didn't get the help that she needed.
Yeah, I know.
So he gets her a poltergeist cake because the background in Heather's name is that Heather's mom, Alice, really loved poltergeist, and the real name of the actress that plays in there is Heather.
Right.
And so he gets her a poltergeist cake. She's like, I want to keep it forever. And then they go to Tito's restaurant, which is her favorite restaurant, and he surprises her because her friends are there, and also her mom. Her mom got out of the house.
Her mom has not left the house, y'all, in ages.
Like, this means right here, I was like, God damn it, Noah. I'm like, you're so in love with her.
And Heather's just like in tears. Like,
it means
Mom?
the world to her,
like,
because her mother, I don't want to say, I mean, depression by nature is a pretty selfish kind of disease.
Right.
And so it just means so much because she never expects her mom to really be a part of her life in that way, or like put her first in that way, which is obviously is the point of depression.
Right.
You're not really thinking about other people.
You're just...
So this is just, oh my God, this is amazing. So so there's more conversation like after they get back, and Noah gifts her a Hummel figurine, which she used to collect, and it's the Merry Wanderer, because he's like, you're gonna go and have
travel,
like grow
and have
have
adventures.
Fun. Exactly. They also open up, like, Noah talks about his ex-wife, how there's lots of conversation throughout the novel about his ex-wife and what kind of husband he was with his ex-wife.
And he regrets that he was not a good husband.
Exactly. But they're still friends now, and they still keep in touch. And she's even like pregnant right now. And he's like, I'm really happy for her. That was actually one of the reasons why we kind of broke up, because I really wasn't feeling.
Yeah, she was ready for a family, and he just felt like he was very neglectful. He would go on his shoots, he would travel.
He was very selfish.
He was very selfish, and I don't know. I just think they weren't meant to be.
They weren't. Sometimes you don't get it right the first time.
Yeah.
So Heather mentions that she got asked out on a date. She's trying to break up some tension.
Yeah.
But and he's like, oh, really? He's like, oh my God. So Noah is definitely feeling jealous. He even says, he's like trying to sound positive, but then he thinks to himself, I wonder what shade of green I was turning, because he is so freaking jealous.
So jealous.
But then he's like, I have no right to say anything because I pushed her away so many times, and you know, I can't do anything about this, but I really don't like this. Like, her moving on.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, still crush on me. I just read your fantasy journal. I can't, no.
Oh, poor Noah.
Yeah, so that night, that's where she crashes on his bed, and
she just drank like margaritas for the first time, so you got to have a little nap.
Oh yeah, big time. And so she... This is where she talks in her sleep and is saying, fuck me, Noah. And then also the ass tickler scene. I want to tickle your ass, Noah.
Which I have to say, this is super, super funny. But I've only witnessed a couple of sleep talkers, but the majority of the time, they really say some nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
It's no sense.
No complete sentences.
My daughter talks in her sleep sometimes. And it's just complete, like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's like makes no sense at all. Yeah. But I mean, she's damn girl. You're speaking complete sentences saying, fuck me, Noah, please. I'm like, damn.
I know.
Like, were you half awake?
Okay, sidebar.
Embarrassing.
Funny story about Noelle and her
sleep talking.
She fell asleep in my bed one time. This was years ago, and I think Kevin was trying to get her, like, Noelle, you got to go back to your bed or whatever. And she like lifted up. She goes, no, I'm reading. And she lifted up her palm, and she was looking at her palms like, I'm reading. And like she was angry, and then went back to sleep. So still to this day are like, are you still reading your palm? Like, anyway.
That's cute. I
Sleep
like
talkers
it.
are hilarious.
I like it. That's super funny.
So, okay. So Heather gets an offer on the house, and it's a really, really good one.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's like $5,000 over asking.
Yes, over asking. And they'll be moving out at the end of September. So now it's all real, you know? And she's feeling overwhelmed. She's like, oh my God, we've got to get rid of this house. She's thinking of think of all the junk you've got in closets in your house, y'all. And her mom's been collecting for years.
Exactly. So, and also kind of the nostalgia of growing up there, and now you have to leave.
Now you're leaving creating
too much,
this home.
you know?
Yeah, I know. So it's all overwhelming. But Noah reassures her and says that he's going to start help her looking for houses to move into for her and Alice. And Alice's sister, Katie, has agreed, who's an artist, like a single woman artist, has agreed to come and move from Boston to live with Alice and be with her.
Yeah,
you know,
to let Heather go finally.
so Heather can go and live her life, which I thought was, I'd love that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, Heather isn't totally alone.
Yeah, because it's like, how do you fix the problem that her mom can't be alone?
Yeah. And so Aunt Katie's coming, thank goodness. And the good thing too is that, I mean, you know, Katie isn't going to have to pay for any of the house. So this does help her out financially as well. Yeah. So it feels, you know, like a good situation. So Heather's date night is here, and she dresses beautifully.
Oh, yeah.
Beautifully.
And she plumps up her boobs. I mean, why not? Like, make sure that cleavage is out there, girl.
She's got a killer bod. She's showing it off. She's got her hair all pretty and glossy.
So I definitely think, because she had said that she told Noah beforehand that, oh, well, I'll come chat with you before I leave. So she's getting all primped for this guy date, but for me, it's not. For me, it's like she definitely knows she's going to go see Noah before, and it's kind of like...
She's primping for him.
Yeah, and she just...
She just wants to show you, look. Look, I clean up nicely.
Right. She's normally a no muss, no fuss girl. They're like literally repairing the house like all day, every day.
And
so
she's still beautiful, and he's attracted to her, but now she looks like a young woman, you know.
Now she looks like a fucking sex siren now. I mean, like, he's like, what the fuck?
And all he can do is look at those lips and think about those lips, you know.
And like, normally, kind of like, I'd be like, what the fuck? Who are you to tell me what I can or cannot wear? But at this moment, I was like, yeah.
He's like, not to the lipstick, because he kind of, doesn't he like wipe, does he wipe it with his finger, or he uses like a rag?
I think he gets a rag, but
he gets a rag and wets it and slowly.
I think, which is important. He said, "This isn't you. Like, you never wear this." And she does say, "This was my friend's lipstick," so it's not her. But he's upset that she's going on a date. But he also is like,
he's finding an excuse to touch her, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the whole incident. And then after that, that's when he says, "Let me go take pictures of you," you know. And he gets out his camera, and I love this scene where he's just like looking through the lens at her and thinking,
just like so natural, so beautiful.
God, she's so beautiful. Like, he's seriously falling in love with her. Before she walks away, the devil in Noah's shoulder makes him bring up the panties that she left in his laundry, which I love.
Me too. I was like, fuck yes, we're gonna bring it up. Yes, we're gonna bring it up.
Let's talk about the black lace
panties. So yeah, he was like, why'd you do that?
I know.
And she's like, because I wanted to tease you. I'm sorry. And he was like, he told her what he did with those panties. It's pretty hot. He gets
kind of angry because he's trying to do the right thing, but at the same time, he's just like, let me tell you what I did with those panties.
Yeah.
Oh, man, hot. So this is also when she asked to taste the scotch on his tongue, and that they have their...
because he says, he's like, I am attracted to you.
Yes.
But I don't want to be.
Yes. So like, he admits it, and that's when she pushes it even further. And they have a super hot and heavy kiss. The interesting thing here is that this is right before she goes on the date, and she wants him to tell me not to go, you know, and I won't go. And he doesn't. No, you know?
He's like, you go.
You know,
damn it, Noah.
And I just thought that was so interesting.
Her heart.
Yes, but he is in agony the entire night. So later,
he deserves it though.
I know he does deserve it. And later, he finally texts her saying, "I made a mistake. I shouldn't have let you go," which has a good. But
effect. I do like how he does call his dad first for advice, because he's like, talk me out of it. And I like how his dad talks him into it.
Yeah, his dad is like, you do know your mother. Your mother was 23, and I was like mid-30s when we
exactly.
met,
they had an age gap.
Yeah, they had an age gap too, and I guess Noah never even thought about it or something.
Of course, because you don't think, because it's like
about your parents.
But Noah does tell his dad that he can't start anything with her unless she knows the truth.
The truth, and the dad knows the truth.
Yeah, does know the truth.
Yes.
So, whenever he texts her saying, "I made a mistake, I shouldn't have let you go," so she does not text back until she is standing on his doorstep. Oh my God, I just love it. I'm like, she came.
Loved it.
So Noah reveals what prompted him to rent her the boathouse. He's like, we need to talk about this, because they do have like this hot and heavy kiss again. And he's just like, I gotta tell you something first. So the revelation. He's like, I knew your sister. And I was just like, what?
Oh my gosh.
I was floored. I was not expecting it. I was like, holy fuck. And my immediate
Seriously.
response, which was also her immediate response, was, were you and
Y'all
Opal
were
together?
Like, I was like, no, please don't tell me you
Me
were
too.
with her sister.
And he was like, no.
Thank
not
God.
at all.
Yeah.
He was like, I was married. I was still married to Olivia whenever I met Opal.
Yeah.
He tells her the story about how Opal came in for some headshots because she wanted to get into modeling. And so he took her pictures. Everything was super professional and nothing was amiss. He even says like it was completely normal. He never got a weird vibe from Opal. But all of a sudden he starts getting inappropriate texts and email from Opal like saying we should meet up.
Yes,
and like
constant.
Right. And like Olivia knew what was going on because of course he was sharing it with her. But also it kind of put a strain on
their marriage.
Because, I mean, if someone's like constantly bombarding your husband
saying,
with
I
like,
want you, I want you.
let's meet up.
Yeah.
But he does say they were already on the rocks before it. It just wasn't working out anyway. But it was kind of like the tipping point where it was like, done.
Yeah. But that's hard to hear that your sister was a stalker of him.
Yes.
You know, this guy you've fallen for.
But he's very adamant and told her that, you know, nothing was going on.
Right.
And he says all of a sudden it stopped. And then a couple months later, he gets a call from a police department out of state saying that Opal died, committed suicide, and there was a letter addressed to him, which he was like, holy shit,
my God.
why me?
I know.
Why me? You know, I was just a blip on her radar throughout her whole life. I really didn't mean anything to her. We never had any profound conversations. Why me? Why address it to me? And so her letter was saying that she wanted Noah to look out for her little sister, Heather. And, you know, and for years he kind of dismissed it like, oh, I can't go down there. But the thing was, and this was right before he took like the Cuba trip. And this is why it was so profound whenever he was in Cuba and he met the little boy.
Right.
Because he was feeling so much guilt because he thought that there was something he could have done. Maybe
to help her.
To help Opal to get her help. And he's like, I should have done something. But Heather, I think, is important. She actually kind of absolves Noah. And he was like, she was like, no, you couldn't have done anything.
Yeah, she was
like, I was
sick.
her family.
And
we couldn't
help her. We tried. You know?
And so the guilt was eating at Noah way too much. And this is why he eventually, years later, because Heather does ask, well, why now? It's been 5 years since her death. And he was like, I really couldn't move on with my life. I couldn't, I felt like there was something, I needed to do something. And this was like it. Like, I felt like I needed to like fulfill her wish. And so that's why he finally went down there. His ex-wife knows, his dad knows, they all know.
Yeah.
And so it's finally out there. And I really do like how Heather took it well because she could have gone off the walls. She could have
gone ape shit.
She could have.
Yes.
But she does, you know, she does talk
she handles
to Noah
it very
about
maturely.
It. She does. And then she says she needs time to process it. She's like, I'm going to leave.
I
loved it. I loved it. It's perfect. Handled it like a real mature adult. So after a few days of silence, Noah feels like it's a good time to cut ties and head home early, kind of rip off the Band-Aid. He was like, obviously
she's kind of done with me. And
it was too much. And I'm just going to leave now. I know I have 3 weeks left.
Right.
Well, Heather comes later on that day after he started packing some boxes and sees the boxes and flips out.
She brings that cherry pie.
Yeah, she does. And gets angry, saying that he's going to deprive them of the last 3 weeks that they have together, and he's like, if I stay here, then it's just going to be that much harder. And she was like, that's exactly why I want you to stay, because I know that we're about to start something and I think it's worth it. Even though it's going to hurt in the end, I want the 3 weeks with you, to actually be with you.
Right.
So they have sex throughout the entire night, and it's very hot. He's just like beautiful. And Noah just like, it breaks my heart though too, because it's like a happy moment, but it's also kind of sad because he says, I was living the moment I'd always feared, knowing what it was like to have her and still feeling as though I needed to let her go. And I was just like, oh, Noah, so sacrificial. So Noah tells Heather that this doesn't change their plans and that she still needs to go to college, that he does not want to tie her down, and that her feelings might change. She's like, you're young. You haven't really experienced the world. What if you go to college and your feelings change? Like, I'm not going to, I don't want to hold
somebody
you.
else. You may decide, you know, this was just, convenient
and this upsets Heather. She's like, you don't think I know my own mind.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I want.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's no way he can convince her. And she later decides that though. So Heather's mom has actually warmed towards Noah and has accepted that Heather can make decisions for herself, because Heather had come home, kind of told her mom what was going on, just like, maybe this was a mistake, like, you know, sleeping with him. And later Heather does make the decision that he is right about her going to college, but mostly because if she doesn't have time away from Noah, he'll never believe that her feelings will last.
That's so
Which is
good.
true.
Yeah.
It's true. He would never believe. The only way she can prove that her feelings are true is to go out in the world, experience it, do her damn, be like,
agree.
I still am in love with you.
Right. See, I feel that's exactly true. Like, he would always be thinking, well, what if you'd gone off to college and changed your mind?
Met somebody
like,
else, younger, more your age, and
right.
whatever. So anyway, then she drops a bomb and she says she doesn't think they should have sex anymore.
What?
Because it will make it that much harder when they have to go their separate ways.
Oh my God.
And he's a little bit shocked, but he's like, okay.
Like, damn it.
Fuck, you dug your own grave, Noah. So anyway, Noah helps with the yard sale and the house hunting. It's like, getting down to the wire. Summer is winding down.
Right. We're getting closer and closer to August. So they move Alice and Katie into the new house. And Noah and Heather have one last day together. This is where they have like the fun we talked about earlier, where they go to the amusement park and they see the fortune teller, and the fortune teller asks who's the ass tickler.
That's perfect.
This one is like, oh my God.
Heather's so embarrassed. She's like, why did you never tell me? And he's like, I don't know.
Heather's like, and he's like, why would I tell you that you said that to me before we were?
She even says, whoever's your roommate, you're going to have to tell them that what you say, you don't mean what you say, because you say some really embarrassing things.
Oh, the fortune teller also says, is everything okay with your head?
I love that. But this is the thing. Whenever she says that, she does tell Noah that. She's like, is everything okay with your head? And he's like, well, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it could be physical, or it could be just a lot's weighing on your
mental,
mind, which is also true, because there is something weighing on his mind. He's about to leave Heather. He doesn't know what's happened. So it's kind of like, I dismissed it. I dismissed it, but it's so much foreshadowing.
Totally dismissed it, y'all.
So
this
much.
is total foreshadowing.
This is a
And
big clue.
we should have held on to that, because
know.
she was right about the ass tickler thing. She was right that he was in love with her. Yeah. And then she asked that question, and so we should have known, y'all.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
It comes into play later. I was like, oh, what the fuck?
So Noah writes her a letter. By the way, they do have sex one more time. Or a couple of times in his truck.
One more night.
One more night together. Hot sex in the truck. And so he writes a letter while she's sleeping and tells her to wait to open it when she's feeling sad and lonely.
I love that.
Yes.
It's so cute. And then they have such an emotional goodbye.
It was such an emotional, she's standing there and he sees her crying. He stops the truck and runs back.
Yeah, it was very much, they both were... They knew it was
hurting.
The right step, but it still was very hard to do.
It still hurt. It still felt wrong at the same time. Right. So we jump 7 months later.
Which
Heather,
it's a good amount of time to
I agree. So she is doing well in school. She's living with her roommate Ming, who is so cute.
I loved Ming. She was only in the novel for a fraction of the time, and I love her because she's so weird.
She also has, have y'all heard of those strange addictions people have? There's actually a show on
I can't watch it because it's so weird, but
it's so bizarre. But hers is eating and smelling and eating baby powder.
I can't. Ming.
Ming is a strange little bird, but she's a sweetheart.
She is amazing.
I know. She's totally sweet. So Heather reads the letter that Noah gave her, which asking her to give it a year. And if she still feels the same way about him, that they will make their real relationship work after a year.
We'll make it work. If it's long distance, we'll make it work.
Or
if you want to move here,
we'll do that.
If I want to move to Vermont,
we'll figure it out. But let's just wait a year and to see if that's really what you want. Because he knows what he wants, and so does she, by the way.
But I think that this is very much important, because he's actually giving her hope that I'm giving you, this is a definite timeline to where
we're not just going to languish in this separation
be in limbo
forever.
Exactly. Being like, are we ever going to do anything about it? And he's like, no, here's a time limit.
Right.
So she's read this note a lot, and she says it's wrinkled and stuff from opening and closing it so much.
I know.
Because she reads it whenever she's feeling lonely. It hurts.
So she and Noah talk every night at the same time, and Heather admits that she sometimes downplays how well she is doing and happy she is, that she feels lonely because she doesn't want him to be upset.
Ming does encourage her to tell Noah what's really going on.
How you really feel. And then Noah says he downplays how much he misses her because he wants her to have that college experience and not worry about him. Oh man.
Yeah,
so
they're just two peas in a pod.
They're just we're the perfect pair, aren't we? And so Noah tells him about the guinea pigs and finds out the guinea pigs are pregnant. Bonnie is pregnant.
Bonnie's gonna have a baby.
Yes. So we think that's funny.
That is.
He's like, I'm going to be a grandfather. She's like, what? It's like, yeah, Bonnie's having a baby.
And she's like, well, you want to keep the babies, don't you? And he's like, I can't separate them from their mom and dad.
I know. I could have that guilty conscience on me.
So
like,
cute.
It was adorable.
I love Noah.
So Noah goes to the grocery store for Bonnie and Clyde's veggies.
Because they're like gourmet eating guinea pigs.
Yes, they're like gourmet. Like he's going to get the special kale or something for Bonnie.
Yeah. The grocery store closest to him does not have the
good
produce
fresh produce
that are
that
like
they need.
up to par
Organic.
for his guinea pigs.
Yes. He's got to go get the perfect organic produce for the guinea pigs.
Super cute.
I know. He's too much.
Super
y'all.
important.
And it is very important because he's having a huge migraine. He feels like this headache coming on. And as he's talking to the grocer, and then he just blacks out.
Yeah.
Suddenly blacks out.
What? I was like, oh my God.
I know, like, and I knew what it was immediately too. I was like, oh my God. So Noah's dad calls Heather on his phone and come to find out he's had an aneurysm.
Yeah.
And he is in surgery right now. Or they're trying to treat the aneurysm.
So scary.
I know. It's super scary. And so Ming flies with her, which I think is so awesome.
Yeah,
Ming
she's
sort
like,
of
I'm coming with you.
I'm coming with you. Don't worry about it. So they fly to Philadelphia to wait and see how, and they get there before the surgery is even over. It's like
they don't know what the outcome is going to be because it's very touch and go. It's like
a 5-hour surgery. They don't know if he'll have brain damage.
on statistics, which is always a terrible thing to do whenever you're waiting for something like that. And just saying the odds just don't look good in his favor that he's going to come out with it without any brain damage whatsoever.
Even if he survives, right, the chances of brain damage are very high.
Yeah.
You know? So then we have an interesting interlude between Heather and Olivia, Noah's ex-wife, in the waiting room. And she finds out, because earlier on that day, Noah had called her and left a message saying, I need to talk to you. And then she didn't hear from him again. We've come to find out, which we all, when you read it, you see that Olivia tells Heather that the last thing he told me was that he's in love with you.
And this is news to Heather. This is news to Heather.
Yes, which I thought was so interesting that she finds out he's in love with her from his ex.
But I also feel like this is like she needs that in that moment too, because she's never gotten that from Noah, and then this is so much uncertainty, but it's almost like here is the light at the end of the tunnel. Right. You know, I know we can be something after this, like for sure. Like I'm in love with him. He is in love with me. I'm going to do everything in my power, like to make sure he's okay. You know, I'm never going to leave his side. And I just think that it's like motivation. Yeah, definitely. And it's that hope she definitely needs to carry her because she has no idea what Noah's going to be like when he comes out. I mean, he could be vegetable-ish.
So Noah makes it through the surgery. They go to the back and they're constantly talking to him. His eyes open, but he's not speaking. You know, and finally he does say Heather's name. That's the first thing he says.
Which is a good sign.
Yes. And he starts to say other things where he's like, why are you here? And so they know his cognition. He's like, he doesn't understand why she's there. He doesn't remember, obviously, having.
He's like, why am I in the hospital?
Where am I? What is going on? You know? So it's all good signs that he did not have brain damage and that he remembers that he loves her.
Yes, it's so sweet. That's adorable. So Heather stays with Noah in Philly during his 3-week hospital stay. She does have permission from her professors to get credit for her coursework, which I think is important. Like we're not just completely dropping that storyline that, you know, she's still in college. And so Noah has a revelation and decides that he doesn't want to waste any more time with Heather, being like, look, I pushed you away and it's all bullshit because I love you. And I would have wasted all of that time pushing you away for some bullshit excuse, and I'm not doing that anymore. And I really like that. It's like, okay, come to Jesus, Noah. Right. Yes, let's get with the program.
That was our wake up moment.
Exactly. So, this is kind of like serendipitous because he's very lucky that he ended up with the guinea pigs at all. And then since he likes to feed them the specific vegetables, it led him to the grocery store, not close to his house, but all the way across town. And it's right near the hospital because time is of the essence with aneurysms. You have to get to the hospital as soon as possible, emergency surgery. And if he would have been at the other grocery store, he might he might have died.
Yes.
And I mean, like, he just like, it's a sign. It's a wake-up call.
Yes.
So he wants Heather to travel the world with him using his savings. And Noah takes pictures and Heather writes about their travels and they title it Heather and Noah Do the World. I really like that. It's just like they're experiencing he's like, this is
sowing
how
her
you can
oats
experience.
together.
Yes. This is how you can experience life with me.
Right. I loved it.
So they travel for 5 months to the Grand Canyon, the West Coast, Australia, France, and they end up in Cuba. It comes full circle. I really love it.
It's beautiful.
Noah gets to reunite with the orphan who he never knew what happened to and he had a connection with. And he's like, it's a sign. And he proposes to Heather. He's like, I've been carrying this since France. And this is just, I feel like this is a sign.
Awesome.
So, of course, she says yes. And so we skip 3 years later. They're still engaged and they're living in Philly. And Alice, Heather's mom, actually moved in with them too because Katie was like done with the whole situation. She's like, I want to go back to Boston.
Yeah.
So, and Noah just takes it all in stride. He's like, I always knew that
would probably
eventually
happen.
we would have to still be with Alice.
Yeah.
And so he's like, so we have a full house. We have, 4 guinea pigs because sadly Bonnie died giving birth to her. Yeah, it's so sad.
Aww.
So they have that. They have Fathead, aka Teddy.
Fathead.
Alice. They're all living together. They're super cute. So Noah surprises Heather with a gift for her 25th birthday. The boathouse property. He buys it off of the new owners because they really don't want to take care of the boathouse and deal with the rentals. And so he's like, perfect, we want it. So and it's very cute because it's nostalgic. He's like, this is where we fell in love.
This is where we fell in love. It's part of her childhood. It's part of her life.
I'd want to get married next summer over here. And she was like, well, maybe not next summer because I'm pregnant. Which is also another kind of full circle thing because he's like, I'm super excited. He's like, I really never wanted to be a father whenever I was with Olivia, but meeting the right person really does kind of change perspective because he was just kind of like meh about the whole idea.
Yeah.
But
meeting Heather, he wants that full life with her.
Yes, exactly. So very telling. And I just love how it ends. It's just beautiful.
It's perfectly perfect HEA, y'all.
Perfect.
I love that they get the boathouse back.
Not too angsty. Deals with a lot of very serious things.
It does,
but it does not feel heavy or weighed down. And I didn't bawl cry and want to throw the Kindle. I felt good.
I did
this.
too. Yeah, I mean, even like I said,
make me feel good.
Yeah, even though it had some heavier issues, they did not feel, like you said, they didn't feel heavy. So we just had that beautiful romantic, that little ocean wave read that we like.
Yeah, I like my imagery. Also because it's summer and I can't. Yeah.
We need to start labeling.
Obviously, we want vacation.
Yeah, obviously.
So anyway, shouts to Penelope Ward for being such an amazing author. Go check out her Stepbrother Dearest, also Neighbor Dearest, which is kind of like a sequel to Stepbrother Dearest. Love Online if you want to do an unconventional read. I liked it. Some people were kind of not super on board with it, but I really liked it. I'm going to fill Juliette in on what's going on with that one later whenever we sign off. And also the dual authored books that she does with Vi Keeland. My favorite one is Stuck Up Suit. So good.
I need to read that one. I love Vi Keeland too.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Definitely.
She's also future podcast list. Yep, definitely. So
what are we doing? Egomaniac? Yes.
It's coming around the corner too.
Fun.
I'm excited. All right, guys. So we hope that you enjoyed today's episode and we look forward to the next one where we'll be discussing The Deal by Elle Kennedy.
Yes.
Juliette's really excited about that one. She did introduce this novel to me. Thanks so much for listening.
This goes out to all the fangirls.
Life's better with a little HEA.